Today I fucked up riding my bike too slow and getting stabbed. Warning, graphic. So, on Friday I was on a solo mountain bike ride heading downhill. I'm still learning, so I'm pretty slow on switchbacks, which isn't very stable. I'm halfway through the turn and I'm still not sure what I did. But with no warning, I'm on the ground, tangled up on my bike. Lift my bike up and see what the damage to my body is, because I'm screaming in pain. There is a jagged hole the size of a quarter in my right leg, mid-inner thigh. Blood is pouring out of it, and I know that's where the femoral artery is. I look at my bike and the entire brake pedal handle is covered in blood and gore. That means this hole is almost 3 inches deep. I have garbage insurance, so I hesitated, but I called 911. The dispatcher is trying to figure out where I am and helping me figure out what to use as a tourniquet. Meanwhile, the blood keeps coming in a steady stream as I try to take my shoes off and tie my calf-length socks together without rolling the wound in the dirt. Never would have worked, but a shoelace could. I find out later. I must have put pressure on, because my gloves are bloody, but I don't remember. 911 still doesn't understand where I am, and I'm sure I made no sense. 4 minutes into the 911 call, a jogger comes around the corner. I've never been more glad to see another person. I look up to talk to her and ask her to call 911. Then I look back at my leg and the bleeding has significantly slowed. Relief washes over me, and I get really cold, which must have been shock, so I tried to calm down. The jogger asks if she should stay and I said no. Please go to the trailhead so they can find me. As she's leaving, I call my son, and since he doesn't understand my description either, I send a screenshot of my location right before my improperly charged phone dies. BD phone, because maybe 15 minutes after I'm bleeding out into the dirt, the paramedics come. They patch me up and determine nothing is broken, I didn't hit my head, etc. The second set of paramedics arrives when my son doesn't put together their brand new off-road gurney. It all balances on a giant wheel, and was very stable on the 1/3 mile to the ambulance. The paramedics and that jogger were so awesome and helped me stay calm and get out of shock. Thank you. The paramedics convinced me to take the ambulance instead of getting in my son's car, because the wound is so serious. I'm glad I did, because in the hospital when they'd unwrap it and do anything, it would bleed again. I'm gonna meet that $6,000 deductible now, so I accept my fate. The doctor orders a contrast dye CAT scan to rule out needing surgery on my femoral artery or vein. Turns out, it was the vein, because the blood was pouring out instead of squirting. Thankfully, vascular system was great, so they deep cleaned the hole and he put a couple stitches in. I thought I'd have double-digit stitches, but the doctor said it needs to close loosely because think of how much bacteria was on your brake, and it needs to escape. Been worried all weekend I might pop the wound open, but if it hasn't happened by now, I must be okay. I feel like someone took a roll of quarters and jammed them in my leg at a strange angle. My leg was complete dead weight to the point I had to use my hands to change position. I have a lot of stairs, so that's exciting with crutches. But this morning, I could lift my leg hands-free, so I think the muscle damage is temporary. I have looked at my bloody bike and tried to figure out the angle this stabbing would even be possible, but I can't. I just wonder how long it will take to erase the picture in my mind of all that blood pouring from my leg into the dirt. Too long didn't read, fall off my mountain bike, which then stabs me in the femoral area. Bleed out, get rescued, get stitches and can't walk currently. Edit, thanks for helping me feel more optimistic about everything, Redditors, hugging face. I can't walk yet, but I'm rarely in pain. Well, shit, that's awful. I hope you have a speedy recovery. But not too speedy because he's still new. I hope he does have a quick recovery too though. Don't be afraid to talk with the billing department of the hospital. Hospitals usually have a fund to help you out with your deductible, or they can make payment arrangements. Whatever you do, don't put it on a credit card, the interest will eat you alive. Wow, I am so sorry that happened. That sounds truly terrible. It's definitely the kind of thing you never think will happen to you until it does. I am slightly relieved though, BC. When I read your title I thought you meant you were riding too slow and someone got mad and stabbed you. Crying face. Bloody brakes never work. I just can't begin to comprehend being in a situation where you would have doubts about ringing an ambulance due to the cost. The NHS isn't perfect and it needs massive amounts of reform, but wow, are we lucky to have it. I'd hate to imagine the stress of thinking, do I absolutely need this treatment, rather than just sitting back and letting the doctors work their magic. Today I fucked up by having my mom as an authorized user on my bank account. My mom helped me set up my account when I was in high school, and she was an authorized user on it. She never accessed it, so I forgot. It's 10 years later now, my account is the same. I moved back home temporarily and have mostly been going about my adult life as normal as possible. Went to Planned Parenthood for some routine STD tests, and since I don't have insurance here, I paid on my card. I got home before my mom did, so I was just chilling. She gets home and is making small talk, asked what I bought today. I look confused, said I didn't go to the store. She says, well, where did you go? I say nowhere. She says, why are you lying? I'm like, what do you mean? Now, I have no reason to lie about going to pee-pee because I'm an adult, but it's personal, you know? She says she gets a text alert for every transaction I make over $100. And I'm like, WTF, since always? Yes. Now I'm clammy and my brain is running a million miles an hour thinking of all the purchases I've ever made over that amount, at dispensaries, the liquor store, concerts, on Adam and Eve. She's casual about it, like, yeah, you spent $150 at the shoe store last week. I hate this and she can tell, so she asks where I went again because she can see that the transaction and phone number attached is for city name family planning. I just told her and she looked disgusted, and I can't wait for the bank to be open tomorrow so I can remove her from the account. Too long, didn't read, paid out of pocket at Planned Parenthood for STD tests, not knowing my mom gets a detailed text alert for every transaction I make over $100. Manipulative and controlling much? She should be glad you care enough to go. Very much so in certain aspects of life, but strangely as a teenager she didn't give me a curfew and allowed me to go to parties freely and stuff, but shamed me in college when I told her I lost my virginity or tried alcohol, so I don't talk to her about these things. I'm mostly uncomfortable and annoyed that she never told me she could see all my purchases. Today she fucked up losing some of your trust and respect. Good luck with the results. I made my own checking account 2 years ago and moved everything slowly over to it without telling my controlling mother about it. She now just thinks I'm broke and hardly ever spend money, when in reality I'm still pretty broke but get to spend my money without worrying. She will text me asking why I bought what I did, or going to a family lunch and her asking what I'd gotten at a store I'd never talked to her about. Usually it was harmless, like, what did you get at clothes store last week? Is that a new shirt? But that was just too much invasion of my finances/life. Now she constantly asks if I need money because the only account she knows about only ever hovers around $100. The general advise at the legal advice subreddit to go to a completely different bank that has no connection to parent. There have been too many occurrences of parents sweet talking themselves back onto an account. Scroll too far down to see this comment. Go to a different bank, open an account, go to First Bank, have them do a cashier's check for the remainder amount, go back to new bank to deposit. Why cashier's check? Because once it's cut, it's out of the account. If you initiate a transfer or withdraw money, your mom will probably get an alert, and can possibly try to at least stop something. There are also limits on cash withdrawals, so you may not be able to get everything out at once. Then, make sure your direct deposits from work, IRS, etc. and all automatic payments get switched to new account. Then you can take your name of the first account or remove her. She looked disgusted. I know you don't need to justify it and might not want to talk to her about it again, but it might be worth pointing out that regular STD checks are normal. You don't just go if you think you have something. I don't think older people always understand that. Yeah, I don't think it will be brought up again, lol. I'm moving out next month anyway. Today I fucked up by Snapchatting someone that I thought was my son, but wasn't. I'm 49 and new to Snapchat. Someone named Devin added me and I assumed it was my son since it's an uncommon spelling. His profile pic is a cartoon. I got a notification that he posted to his story. First time seeing that happen and I clicked on it. The first was a close-up of his face without his glasses and I saw he shaved his beard and left the mustache. The tag said job interviews are the only thing that stresses me out. Second one was a pic of just the top of his head with his glasses back on and wearing a headset. The tag said that interview did not go well for me. I commented on the first snap and said nice dick duster. For those of you who don't know, that's a nickname for mustaches because when someone with a stash gives you a blowy, it dusts your dick. Then I switched to text and said your interview didn't go well. What interview? On your snap? And I screenshotted the 2 snaps and texted them. My son said that's not me and I freaked out. Switched to Snap and deleted him as a contact. Turns out that my son Devin used to work with this guy and that he, in turn, worked with an older guy with my name and added me by mistake. So basically, this poor dude was stressed about his interview and a random old fat man commented nice dick duster, took 2 screenshots and deleted him. Text chat TL/doctor. I made a crude joke to a stranger that I thought was my son on Snapchat, screenshot his pictures and deleted him. Lol. The only reason this one caught my attention was because my name is Devin. However, I don't use Snapchat. Nice dick duster Devin. How did you not know it wasn't your son when he posted a picture of his face? Well, I didn't have my cheaters on and I had been drinking and the pictures only showed a part of his face both times. I thought he looked off but I thought it was because of his missing beard. Finally a good today I fucked up. Others please take notice. Or ha ha ha. I saw this on r/old people Facebook. This story is gold. This is so fucking funny, ha 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 ha.